much.
You're very
Yes,
welcome.
true. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, actually, the idea of making this class came to my mind after I've seen how much work is done online now from the side of the magazine, and like all the experts, they're trying to go live, they're trying to post something, to make videos, and I thought that I could give some hints which are important from the point of view of photography and videography. Actually, it's almost the same. So it could help to improve the visuals for the magazine, because we're the magazine and lots of people are watching it. So it's really easier to avoid some basic mistakes or to improve the quality of the visuals that you're producing. So it will improve the total look of the online posts for the magazine for the publication. Okay, so I will share my screen now so you can see the slideshow that I prepared. I will not play it as a slideshow because I don't want to make it full screen. I want to see the chat as well here. So, but I will scroll it like line by line. Just you will tell me if you can see it well. You can see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so
Yes.
what I'm going to do today. So first, I will give you a very short block with the technical side of photography, because this is something which is really important to understand. I will explain it in a very easy way with the simple words, so you can understand it easily, because this is something that you can take into account when you produce your photos or your videos. And then I will give you the main rules concerning lighting, concerning composition, concerning colors in the pictures and videos that you are making. So all of this will help you to improve the quality of the photographs that you are taking. And as long as most of you are using the mobile cameras for creating the visuals, I will compare first the mobile camera and the digital camera to explain you what's the difference and what you should keep in mind when you're photographing or taking videos with your mobiles. Okay, so this is the first slide here. It's about mobile cameras versus digital cameras. So first thing, what we have in mobile cameras is that lenses are not removable. So we can't choose the lens as with the digital camera. So we are using what we have. Yes, we can have like 2-3 cameras in our mobiles, and they will be different. It's good if you know what's the difference between your lenses, but maybe for some of you, it will be news that your different cameras in your mobile can be different in angles and can be different in programming software, what they have. And I will explain it further. In general, how it works with the creating the picture, creating the photograph. It's like, it's like as if we have the big screen in the cinema, and there is a light which is producing a certain image on the big screen. This is the same how the camera is working. So, but inside the camera there is matrix. There is matrix where when we can get when we are getting the light, we are getting the image on this matrix. Depending on the size of the matrix, the quality of image will be different. In digital cameras, the matrix is big, and we can get high quality images that we can print and we can show them on big screens. In mobile cameras, the matrix is small, the amount of light is different, and the amount of pixels is different. So we can't produce very big images in our mobiles. We still can see them in small screens. We still can print them in small size, but we can't make them big, large, and the same perfect as digital cameras. But if you actually don't need showing the mobile images in huge screens, the quality of mobile photographs that we are getting is pretty good. And there are even professional photographers now who are using the mobile cameras for their shoots, and especially when they're traveling, and they are really good quality. So what is important about the lenses that you have in your mobile cameras? If you have only 2 cameras in your mobile, which is front camera and back camera, the front camera, the one which is used for selfies, usually it gives you a smaller size pictures with because it has less pixels, and it has built-in software to make this nice blur to the skin, and it's programmed somehow differently from the back camera. The back camera of the mobile, it gives you high quality images and bigger size images, and the software is different. And very often for the front camera, we have the software which is good just for selfies and close-ups. And in the back camera, we can have a choice of different programs and choice of different scenarios that we can choose depending on what we are going to shoot. That means that every time when you're taking videos, and the quality of the video that you're taking with the front camera and back camera can be also different. The front camera will not give you that quality as the back camera. So that's why when you want to take a video of yourself for the magazine, let's say for your publication, or the photo of yourself, it's better if you don't use the selfie camera to avoid the blur, like too much close-ups, and to avoid the blurry images. Just put your mobile somewhere a bit from the far over your table and use the back camera to get the better results. If you need to see yourself while you're making the video or pictures, put the mirror beside it so you can see what you see and you can see yourself, but try using back camera more often than front camera for this. Then the back cameras can also be different. Sometimes when we have the phones with the 2, 3, 4 back cameras, they are different. They can be different in lenses. What is important to understand about the lenses? The lens doesn't matter, the built-in lens inside the mobile or the lens that we can remove from the digital camera. The difference is in angle. The main difference is in angle. From which distance what the camera can photograph. You could see that if you take your mobile camera and you have the whole family sitting in the sofa, you need just a couple of steps backwards and you can see them all in your mobile. Yeah, but if you ever use the digital camera, even the simple one, you could see that not every lens can give you the same result with the like from the same distance. And sometimes we say like, I can't cover, let's say, this group of people because it's not enough space. You could see, you could hear it from the photographer, or I can't photograph because I need more space. Because the wider the angle of the lens, the less distance from the objects you need, and the more you can, like the bigger group, let's say, or the more space you can cover with your camera. But the narrower the lens, the angle of the lens, the less people or less space will be like in your picture, and the more space you need behind if you want to cover more, let's say. So if I take a group of people, let's say a group of 3 people, and I want to photograph them with the narrow lens, I need to make a few steps backward in order to get them all inside the frame. So this is how we can actually choose the camera in our mobile, the one which we are using right now. You can compare, switching between different cameras, you can compare them, which coverage you are getting from each lens. Some cameras, their lenses are made for landscape shots. Landscape, that means that you will have lots of space, you will have everything like very wide angle, and everything will be in focus, and you will really clearly see everything on the first plan and the like back plan, and everything will be in focus. And some like one of your cameras, mobile cameras, can be with the narrow angle, which will be more suitable for people, let's say, or for single objects. And for example, if you are using the wide angle camera for a group of people, you will get distortion at the sides. And you could probably notice it when you photograph a family and somebody who's standing on the right side, on the left side, they look bigger and fatter, and sometimes even the faces, the shape of the face is changed. Because this is the disadvantage of the wide angles. it's like, you know, the camera, the lens is not flat. It's like sphere. And when you cut a piece of this sphere, you get this glass which is not flat. It has curves. It's like curvy. So everything which is closer to the middle of this curve will not be distorted. But the further you move to the sides, the more change of shape you will get. So that's why if you have a group of people that you need to photograph with your wide angle mobile camera, I'll switch off somebody's microphone. Yeah, that you need to photograph with your wide angle camera, go backwards, leave more space around them, so you will not have this change of the people's shape on the sides. Or if you have a big group of objects, let's say, just leave more space behind you. And this is the main difference, but you can definitely use it as an advantage depending on what is the idea of the picture that you want to get. Then, as I said, also difference with the mobile cameras and digital cameras is in the size of the photos that you are getting, bigger or smaller size. Then in software and programs, the one which is the camera, the back camera, usually it has the inbuilt scenarios, and the scenario is something that camera is playing when you choose a certain setting. And when I like show you what are the settings in the camera and what can change and what not, I will explain you what's the difference and how the camera is acting when you choose a certain scenario. And then functionality. Of course, the digital professional cameras, they're more functional. You can you can be more in control of everything what's going on, and you can adjust the settings and you can change something. In mobile cameras, most of our mobile cameras, they don't have manual settings, especially iPhones. They're all automated and you can't adjust anything. You can only choose a certain scenario. But there are also ways how to make it manual and how to adjust the settings if you need it, and I will show you them later how. So this is the main difference between mobile cameras and digital cameras. If you want to produce high quality digitals, you don't necessarily need having a digital camera. You just need to understand what kind of lenses and angles and software and programmed scenarios you have in your camera. That's it. And since you since you discover what you have inside, you will understand how they work and which of them to use and to choose in a certain time. Then, little bit of a technical side. There are three main parameters which are really important to get in order to understand how it all works, and especially for those who are using the manual settings in their mobile cameras. The first one is sensitivity. Sensitivity is usually marked as ISO in the pictures. This is something that we got from the film cameras before. Sensitivity means how much sensitive the matrix will be and how much light you need to get to produce an image, because when it's too dark we can't get an image, we can't see anything, right? When it's too light also we can't see anything, it's overexposed as we call. So there should be a certain amount of light, and sensitivity can changing the meaning of the sensitivity of ISO can help us to adjust to a certain lighting environment. When we photograph in a darker room, we need higher meaning of ISO, higher meaning of higher sensitivity in order to get nice picture. And opposite, if we are in the bright daylight and it's too much light, we can't see well in the photo, we need to lower the sensitivity to get to choose the lower meaning of ISO to reduce the light and to get nicer image. Shutter speed, like shutter, this is something that it's like curtains inside the camera which open and close. And this click, when you hear, when the camera is working, this click, this is when these curtains, they're opening and closing. They can open and close with different speed. It can be really fast or it can be really slow. And depending on how fast and slow they're opening, we will get more or less light inside our matrix, inside our camera. For example, when the shutter speed is low, it's opening really slowly and we are getting lots of light. But when it's fast, it closed fast. We are getting very little light at this moment, and the difference in the in the images will be obvious. We can use this setting. If you can adjust it in your camera, we can use it. For example, the shutter speed, which is higher than 1/500, is a very fast shutter speed that even will freeze the flying bird. You know, so if you have, let's say, running kids around you, or if you have the waterfall and you want to freeze the water drops, use the shutter speed which is higher than 1/500, and you will definitely get sharp and nice images. But on the contrary, if you want to get something really blurry and connected, for example, you've probably seen this night style images when you can see the bridge and the lights of the cars, which are all connected in red line. Yeah, like all the cars are like one red line or one white line. It's not Photoshop, it's very slow shutter speed. When the camera shutters are opening slowly, 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 and the cars are moving, 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 and this is how they stick to each other, and we are getting this line of lights. So we can use it when we produce a certain image. That means that if you can adjust the setting and you're in the dark room and it's not enough light to get nice image, put the camera on something like on stand or tripod, lower the shutter speed, and you will get the nicer shot with more light inside without adding some lighting around. Yeah, doctor, you wanted to ask something? Dr. Tak,
yeah. Thank you, Anastasia. I just want, is my voice clear?
Yeah.
I just want to ask, if I use the desktop camera, is it similar to the mobile camera?
Yeah, but the desktop camera, you can't adjust the settings there anyhow, and usually they don't have pre-programmed scenarios as the mobile cameras, but they are adjusting automatically depending what you have. Like if you have Mac or something like Apple, their cameras, the built-in cameras, they're really good, and they are adjusting also depending on the light. They can adjust the settings automatically. Yeah.
So it's better to use than mobile rather than desktop.
In mobile, you can choose from the variety of scenarios. Yeah, and in the desk you can't choose. It adjusts by itself. And sometimes even maybe today during the class, you will see how my image, my video will be changed because my Mac is changing everything by itself, and I can see them. Sometimes I look lighter, sometimes there is a kind of magenta cast, and sometimes it's a kind of yellow cast. Nothing is changing around me actually, but the sun outside is changing, the camera is adjusting. But mobile, when you choose a certain scenario, it will not change, so it just goes as it is, and you will get more even video like without any huge changes. Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. So this is about shutter speed. The third really important thing that we need to know is about is called aperture. Aperture, it's to say it in simple words, it's a hole inside the lens. This hole can be more closed or can be more open. Depending how open it is, we are getting more or less light, and we are getting more or less objects in focus. This is what it is responsible for. And usually in the mobile cameras, the f meaning is chosen by the camera also according to the scenario. But in manual settings, we can pick it up, we can set it manually. If, for example, we want to get this effect, then the person is in focus and everything behind him is blurry, we are choosing lower meanings of f of aperture. So it will be aperture like f 1.4, 1.8, or f2. Everything which is below f4 will give us very little objects in focus and more blur around. If F meaning is higher than 4, the higher the meaning, it can be 12, it can be 18, 20, the more objects you get in focus. So that means when you're photographing, let's say, the city, and you want all the details to be shown in the picture, you are choosing the landscape scenario in your camera, and camera automatically sets up the aperture, meaning high. It will be like, automatically it will be like f20 or f15, let's say. And you will get lots of objects in focus and everything will be clearly seen. But when you choose the program, let's say portrait, the portrait for the camera means that you want to photograph a certain person only, and you don't need the background in focus. And the camera will automatically change F meaning to lower than F4. Usually it's F2 in our mobiles. And you will get a person in focus and everything blurry behind this person. So this is how the camera is choosing the meanings. But if you can set it up manually, you can use it. It's the same for both video and photo. To get blurry background, go with F meaning below 4. Okay, this is the rule. But keep it in mind that if you make it manually, the lower the meaning of F, the more open will be this hole. That means when you're choosing F 1.2 or 1.8, the hole is really open and you are getting a huge amount of light. So if you're making it manually and you want to get this nice blur behind you, you need to reduce the amount of light around you. So choose the place where it's not too much light, or go to a shadowy place, and then you can adjust, like you can use this trick with changing the F meaning. Okay. So these are the three main things, and I'll refer to them then later again and again during the class, so you can understand them better. So sensitivity, this is ISO meaning, shutter speed. This is the how fast it opens and closes the shutter inside the camera, and aperture, F meaning, this is what we have in focus and what is out of focus and how much light we are getting. Okay, and all of them in automatic regimes, scenarios, the camera is choosing a certain meaning of sensitivity, certain meaning of shutter speed, certain meaning of aperture. For example, if I'm choosing the night mode in my camera, even if it's not night, let's say I want to make a video or a picture in the room and it's pretty dark, and when I look at in my camera, I can see that the picture goes really dark. I will choose the night mode. Night mode will automatically raise the ISO number. It will lower the shutter speed, and it will make higher F meaning. This is how the camera will adjust, and I will get nicer image which is not dark, which is bright enough. This is how it works. Okay, is it clear here, or there are questions?
For me, it's fine, Anastasia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good, great. So then, now from the technical side, we are going to have like smooth transition to the artistic side, let's say, and how to get nice images in connection, how it is connected with the technical side. So we all know that, you know, when I'm asking my students, what makes a good picture good? And sometimes it's difficult even to say what makes it good. Just we can see the photo and we can say, I like this one, and this one, I don't like this one. But if we are not professional photographers, we can't analyze why this one is nice and why that one is not nice. This is how our brain can analyze the information that we get from this image. And our brains, like our viewer's brain, either accepts this image as nice, as good, or either just skips it or scrolls it fast, and because the image doesn't catch attention. The brain is not like, the brain doesn't like it, let's say. Why? There are certain things which are really important. So first, we want our pictures to be sharp, and especially the main objects that we have in the photographs should be sharp. should be in focus. Yeah, if the picture is blurry, or if we are the main object, I mean the main object is blurry and we can't see the details, we feel like something's wrong here, or the kind of mistake or something. So what is important about sharpness, to understand about sharpness? This F that I told you, and focus of the camera, this is, it works this way. It's focusing not on a certain spot. The camera is focusing on the distance. That means if I take, let's say, this piece as the object that I want to photograph, and I focus my camera on this piece, that means that if after I focus my camera and I moved it somewhere, or I moved it a little bit further, the camera focus remains on the same distance where it was initially, you know, when it was focused. And that means that if I move the object, or if I moved myself or hands after I focused the camera, if I moved even little, the object will go out of focus, okay? The camera is focusing on the distance, not on the spot. This is very important to understand, because if, for example, you have a group of people and you are, and this, like, the difference, let's say, I will show you now, just to make it easier to understand. Let's say the distance, this will be the sheet, and the camera is focusing on this distance, okay? And this is really thin, okay? So everything which is even slightly further, like further than this thickness of the sheet, further will be out of focus in this meaning. And I will get this very thin focus line with the open hole, like everything which is F low meanings will give me very thin line of focus, let's say, okay? But if I take this one, it's much thicker than this sheet of paper, and I have this one and my camera is focused on this distance, but this is thick, and everything which will be moved slightly but will be still in this meaning, like in this depth here, will be still in focus, and it can be even wider, it can be even wider. You see, so if camera is focused here and I'm moving something further than this depth, will be out of focus. But if camera is focused here and I'm moving slightly here and it's still inside this depth, it will be in focus. This one, the thickness of this field depends on F meaning. So if F, let's say 20 for a landscape, why everything is in focus? Because 20 will be that thick, and everything which is here will be in focus, okay? But, and let's say F10, F15, F8, it will be still some space to move the objects which are in focus, and everything behind will be out of focus. But if I choose, let's say, F below 4, F2, F1, the lower the meaning of F, the thinner will be this, line, the less space I have to move. So that means, let's say, if we take, it can be that thin that one eye of the person can be in focus and the other eye can be out of focus if the person is turned this way. Let's say this is how thin can this depth can be. Okay, so this is important to know when you're photographing group of objects, let's say, or a group of people. You don't want anyone to run out of focus, or anything to run out of focus. You either choose high meanings of F and you place everyone in the photograph, or you want something in focus and something out, so you choose lower meanings and you place the objects behind, so they will go out of this line of this depth of field. Okay, depth of focus. Is it clear here?
Yes, it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So this is about sharpness. Then next thing which is important is brightness and contrast. This is really tricky. Sometimes we think that the brighter we make the picture, the nicer it is. No, it isn't. The brightness should be balanced. too bright images with high contrast will have very harsh shadows and very bright spots. And this is not something that our eye likes and our brain likes. We like something which is more balanced. That means that if we have dark, like shadowy objects in the picture, they shouldn't be that dark so we can't see the details, so we can't see the texture of this object. And the bright objects, they should not be that bright that they're like white spots and no any information inside this spot. Okay, we should still see what is inside, the details and the texture. So this is what can show you if you are making it too bright. If you can't see anything in the shadow, or if you can't see anything in the light, that means it's too bright. You need to either change the place or to reduce the brightness in your mobiles. And by the way, you know, I found out that not everyone knows that when we are photographing, I will show you now, when we are photographing the objects, when we touch, let's say we want to photograph this place, when I touch it, the camera automatically adjusts the brightness here. And here, it comes the line with the brightness, and I can adjust it, make it brighter or darker. And in the most of the mobile cameras, we have it. Because, for example, in this room, this object is very dark, but I can make it lighter by adjusting this brightness. Of course, I will get too much light there, but I don't need any details, let's say, there. For a non-professional, it's fine. Or I will just slightly adjust it, and the picture will look not as dark as it would be without adjustment. This is about brightness and contrast, and it depends a lot on ISO meaning. As I told you before, ISO, this is sensitivity. And the higher ISO I have, the more I will see in dark areas. Because ISO brings the sensitivity. That means even in the shadow, I will see all the details really well if the sensitivity is high enough for this environment, okay? And this also, it depends on, I wrote here that it depends on ISO and it depends on F meaning. Because F, as I told you before, F is responsible for how much light we are getting inside. So when it's too much open, it's too much light. When it's too much closed, it's little light. That means when you take a picture and you see that it's too much dark, open little bit this hole, like put the F meaning a bit lower, and you will get more light. You will get nicer images. Okay, so here light matters a lot. Then, what else makes good picture good? Colors. We all like when the colors are vibrant, when they are as they are in real, or even sometimes we saturate them intentionally to make them nicer. So colors depend on all of these technical settings. The color quality will depend on shutter speed, will depend on aperture, and will depend on sensitivity. Light matters here. Light matters. And all these three settings, they are responsible for how much light you are getting in your camera and how much camera is sensitive right now to accept this amount of light. So that means when it's too much light, when it's too much bright, colors will not show well. When it's dark, colors will not show well. For good colors, you need good lighting. This is the only thing. Then the second thing actually, which is really tricky about the mobiles, you're losing the colors when your lens is not clear. And this is something that we always forget. We forget that we are using our phone and it always touches our face, and that we are using our cameras, back cameras, for the screens, yeah, when we have fingers screen here. And that's why the cameras, the mobile cameras, they are really dirty, and we forget when we are taking pictures or videos, we forget to wipe them. And you will be shocked how huge the difference is when you just wipe before you take pictures or videos, just wipe the lens, wipe the camera, and you will be shocked how big the difference in colors, in brightness, in sharpness, in everything will be. Okay, wiping the camera lens is really important. And then the last thing, which is I think the most complicated maybe to understand, because it comes like little by little with practice. This is the composition. Composition depends on the photographer. When photographer knows the rules, when you as a photographer, when you know the rules, what should be in frame, what should be in the picture and what shouldn't, when you know the rules and then you know how you can break these rules and you will still get nice images. Here, when you're just like when you just start, try to have as less objects in the picture as possible. If you are photographing the street, let's say, and still you have a busy street and lots of people around, turn your camera this way, turn your mobile this way, so you will not have the objects that you don't need in the picture. Let's say sometimes we take a photo and it was a nice group of people that we wanted to photograph, and then in the picture we see the rubbish, let's say, on the floor, or trash tin or something that we don't need. So this is easily to avoid. When before you take a picture, you just see what is there in your frame and move it to the other side just to make a certain composition, so you will not include the unnecessary things that you don't need in your photograph. And also pay attention to the objects which are behind people who you photograph. If you photograph people, or if you photograph yourself, what is behind you? Because in the photo, everything looks flat. It looks like one object. If, for example, you can see there behind me the frame, and if I take a picture right now, it will look like this frame is a part of my head. This is how our brain can see it. You see? So now, if we make a picture of me, I have here a part of my head, it's a box, then a part of my shoulder, it's the chair, and everything looks like one image. This is how brain reads it. So when we have a person and there is a tree behind the person, a tree or a lamp or whatever, and it looks like it's going from the head, you know, this is how brain, what our brain is confused at this moment. How come that the tree is growing from a person, let's say, or from a shoulder? And this is actually that even the professional photographers, we still make these mistakes, and only after many years of practicing, we start noticing these things and avoiding them. But at least when you choose the background for your video or for your selfie image, check what you can see in your screen, in your camera screen. Make sure that you don't have these objects in your head and your shoulders and something which is growing out from your body. Just, it will look nicer even if you take just the empty wall and nothing behind you, much nicer than all of this busy background. And the other thing is that if we have, for example, lots of details in the background, this is what also grabs attention of the viewer from the main object. If you can see me in the photo and you can see lots of stuff behind me, you will start searching what is it there and what is there and what is this, and this one looks nice, and you know. And if I make a picture now, let's say for my profile using these objects around, it will be really difficult to understand what is the main object, who is the main object in the photo, me or the doll behind me, which looks pretty and made out of something. Everyone is curious, what is it, you know? So the less objects you have in the picture, the better. So everything, like each object, everything is really important and matters. And here are just the simple examples. I placed 3 images here just to show you the difference of how we can use the focus and out of, how we can use F-meaning to put something in focus and out of focus. Let's say in this image, we can see some leaves be really in focus, and everything which is behind or in front of this distance goes out of focus. You see, I have these flowers, I have some behind them, and I have some in front of them. All of them, these and these, they go out of the depth of focus of this field, and that's why they look blurry. The same here in this image. Everything which is behind goes blurry. Everything which is in focus, here we can see sharp. And closer, also it looks blurry. Okay, and then in this image, the same. You see, here we have, this is the distance where the camera was focused. Everything further and closer from this distance comes blurry. Okay, and by the way, here also another example, everything which is closer looks bigger. Can you see these leaves here? Everything which is closer to the camera looks bigger. And here in these flowers, they're all the same size, but look, this size and this size. Everything close to the camera looks bigger. That means when you see it and you talk, even you can see now my hand, when it's closer to the camera, my hand now looks like my head size. Keep it in mind when you photograph yourself, what is closer when you're sitting, let's say like this, and you take a picture of yours, and in the picture you can see big hands and small face. So find the pose and position so your hands are not towards the camera, so they are like sideways or turned sideways. Or if you want to use it as an advantage and you want to look, let's say, slimmer, you can slightly tilt toward the camera with the shoulders, just this way, and your body will look much slimmer because it becomes like further, it comes further from the camera. It's for a video and for photo, both. The same about objects. Everything which you put closer to the camera, it will look bigger than those which are behind. Are there any questions here?
Not from me, no.
No? Okay.
Everything is clear. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Just a minute.
So it seems we have more people on board.
Yeah, good. Yeah, fine. Next. So now we are talking about light, because light, you know, this is the main thing that is important for the good pictures. And we need to understand that we have different sources of light. And depending on the idea of the photo, we can use a certain source of light or we can combine them. Like you should know that, for example, we all understand about the daylight, like natural light, we understand everything about it. But we don't, sometimes we don't keep in mind that the artificial light that we have in our homes and that we often use when we take pictures and video, each lamp has different temperature and the light will be of different color. We can't see it with our eyes because our eye is adjusting the image that we are getting in the brain, but the camera can't adjust. If it's not in automatic regime, it can't adjust. And when we have a mix of light coming, let's say from the ceiling, we have cold light, from the side lamp we have warm light, and it mixes up together and we get either yellowish image or gray yellow or magenta or green, like whatever, depends on the camera at this moment. So this is how you can choose which source of lights you are using when you take an image. I always recommend, if you are using not the daylight, but let's say the lamp in your home, take only one source of light and switch off all the others, so there will be no confusion, no mix of different color of light. Okay, I think we had a question in chat. Okay, here. Yes.
Eileen is asking that there's an echo. I told her that for me, there's no echo. Maybe she has her mobile next to the phone.
Reduce a little bit the volume. Is it okay now? Can you hear me well? I can reduce just the volume of the...
Eileen, you have to unmute. You're on mute. You have to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what is important then. If you are choosing the light to take photos or images in your home, never use. I'm asking how can you control the voice? What do you mean? How you can control the voice? Your voice, so we can hear you. You need to unmute your microphone.
No, she's saying that she can hear us.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, hi. Thank you,
Hi.
Anastasia.
Yeah, very valuable information.
So when you're taking pictures or videos in your home, never use the light which comes right from above. Never use these lamps in the ceiling or like any source of light which comes from the top will give you really harsh shadows under your eyes, and you will get this panda look and something that you definitely don't need. So it's better if you choose, let's say, a desktop lamp or a standing lamp and put it beside you with, let's say, on one side or with the angle, let's say 45 degrees from you, and you will have this single source of light. It will be much nicer than using the light coming right from above. Now, also the color of light, if you are using the natural light sources, it will be always nicer than the yellow light, because the yellow light that can be from the desk lamp, let's say, it will give you this yellowish skin tone, or sometimes like even orange skin tone or greenish. If you have the daylight lamp at home, use it for your photos. Then, but of course, it's always nicer to take videos and photographs with the daylight. And daylight is also can be tricky. It can also be coming directly from up, and we will have the same problems as the lamp on the ceiling. So that's why for the natural light, if we photograph outside, we choose time in the afternoon when the light is not coming from up, but coming, let's say, from the side, or has an angle, let's say 45 degrees or about, and it will give us nicer image. Or we are going to a shadowy place or behind the corner or somewhere where you don't have bright light, and the images will not lose color and not lose the contrast. Then, when we are using the daylight in our rooms, this is the best thing that you can make for your videos and your photos. Just before you take a picture or make a video, find a spot in your room where you have enough light from the window, not too much, but enough light from the window, and take an image or take a video beside the window. The thing is that if your window is from the sunny side and you're getting like bright sun, you need to dissolve it somehow. You need to have either curtains, something like this, like sheer curtains, that will make the light soft, or just moving a bit far from the window, not to get this hard light, and I will explain later what it is. Okay, so light can be different in color and can be different in angles. Our cameras usually have automatically adjust to the color of light that we have around. This is called white balance in cameras. White balance, and you could probably see it as WB letters, or AWB. AWB, this is automatic settings, and usually we can choose in our cameras if we photograph in the shadow, in the sunlight, in the room with the like some other kind of light. You can choose this setting in your camera if you have this option. If you don't have, just leave it as automatic, and the camera will choose it according to the program, to scenario that you're using, and according to what it sees around you. And you can also adjust it then later. After you finish taking pictures, you can adjust the white balance. So white balance, this is what will make your photos more bluish or white or yellowish or greenish or with the purple cast. This is all white balance. And if you by accident get, let's say, magenta image and you want to balance it somehow, in your photo editor that you have in your mobiles, find this WB white balance letters and move. There is like usually there is a line and the dot. Move the dot to the opposite side. If it's magenta, the opposite will be green. Move it slightly to the green. It will add some green color to the picture, and this is how you will reduce the magenta cast. Then angles, as I told you, angles are very important, how we get, like, what's the angle of the light falling. Then reflection and diffusion. I told you about diffusion, that when we have bright light and we need to diffuse it somehow, so we will not have harsh shadows. And this is the same about angles. I will show you something now. I have a light here. There's the lamp with the daylight. It's not it's not directly lighting on me. You see, if it's on me, now I have harsh shadows, but now I have it, it's reflected at the wall. If I change the position of this light, look what we have. You see, this is as if it's, I was using, let's say, the lamp in the ceiling. You see what's the difference? Yeah, this is if I use it exactly straight in my face. This is how it changes if I use it, let's say, here, or too much to the side. There are too much shadow. So the angle of light really matters. And for example, the opposite side, I will show you now. If you have lamp or window from one side, your opposite side can be really shadowy and can be really dark. How you can adjust it? You can have a white sheet of paper from the opposite side, let's say, or white wall. Look, the difference, you see? I have here, if I have the shadow, it's too bright light now from the window, I can't even say it this way. But if it's there is a shadow here, and I put the white sheet of paper, or I see it the way that I have white wall on my left side and my light source on my right side, this light will reflect from the white wall or from the white sheet of paper, and will compensate the lack of light from the opposite side. It will be not too dark, the other half of the face. And then soft light and hard light. I will show you now how it looks, soft light and hard light. Look at this picture. The soft light here in this picture is when we can't see deep shadows here, you see? Everything is really smooth and nice, and nothing is too much contrast. This is the soft light. Usually we are getting the soft light when we have a few sources of light, let's say from different sides, and that's why you could see that photographers in studio, they are using 2 lights, 3 lights to get this light around and to avoid different dark spots on the face, let's say. But from this side, if you can see this girl, here is the hard light, and we also use it for some images when we want to create this feeling of dramatic look. So here we can use the hard light when I have a big contrast from the opposite side, everything is in shadow, and the other part of the face is in light. This is the hard light. The hard light is when the difference between light and shadow is more obvious. Anyway, even in this situation, it shouldn't be too much huge, the difference. Otherwise, we will lose the information here. We will not see the details, and it will give us shadows which will change the shape of the nose, let's say, or a shape of her face, and it's also not nice. So when you are just starting using your cameras, your mobile cameras, it's better to always have soft light and avoiding this gaming with the shadow. Like here, for example, I have 2 bottles, and here we have hard light that we use intentionally to create this shadow behind them, because this is a part of the composition here, and I wanted to have this shadow here. So that's why I put the lamp the way so I can get it. This is another example of hard light, but controlled hard light. Are there any questions here? Okay, am I talking too fast, or it's okay?
No, excellent, good.
Fine, okay, good. Okay, that's all about light. Now we are going to composition. Composition, actually, this is the thing. This is all about what is included in the photograph, what is included in the picture, and how the objects or people are positioned in the picture. There are certain rules which are really important to follow and which are really easy to remember. which will change your images significantly and your videos significantly. The first one is about horizontal and vertical lines. You know, when we see the photo or the video, and we can see that a certain horizontal line, usually it's the horizon line, goes to the, like inclines to the left side or to the right side, or a certain vertical line, let's say a tree, inclines to a certain side, our brain analyzes this image as disbalanced, that something's wrong there. That's why it's really important to have horizontal lines, horizontal, and vertical lines, vertical. What will help you? You have a grid in your camera, switch it on, because the most of you have it off, but use it please. Even me, I use it in my professional camera, because the grid will help you to keep your horizontal lines horizontal and vertical lines vertical. And then it will also help you to place your objects in the right places, and I will tell you how. Okay, you switch on the camera grid and use it. Then the second important thing about composition here is where we place the object. There is the rule of thirds. We call it the rule of thirds. Let's take this image, and we will cut it into parts. We will have 3/3 here, like 1, 2, 3, and 3/3 here. You see? So we cut it in 9 pieces. This is how your grid usually cuts your photo in your mobile. You can see. If you want to have nice photo, we will always put the horizon line. It can be horizon line. It can be the table line if you place an object on the table. The horizon line should not be in the middle. It should be either in the upper third or in the lower third, or exactly on this line separating the thirds. If we have the horizon line like closer to the upper thirds, let's say like here, if I move, for example, now this image even further from the middle, like the horizon line will be further from the middle towards the upper thirds, the image will get more dynamic look. Everything which is closer to the middle, if we have the horizon in the middle, the image looks more still. So if you want to show a very still look and like flat water and something not moving, you can put the horizon line in the middle, and it will be nice and like it will look good. But if you want to add some, to bring some dynamic in your picture, make sure that the horizon line is somewhere closer to the upper third or to the lower third of the image. Then the same about right third and left third. We are using this right third and left third to find better place for the main objects. If, for example, here on this river, I will have, let's say, a ship or a boat. If I put it in the middle, like here we have in the middle, we have mountains. The middle position of the main object in the photo gives us really still look. But if I wanted to show that I have a boat which is floating towards this mountain, I would put it here in this area, closer to the left third or closer to the right third. And from here, it like the position of the main object here will give me an opportunity to move my eyes forward, to move my eyes towards the direction where this object is going, you know, and we have some space in front of it, and this will bring the extra dynamic to the picture. And also, if, for example, we have a few objects and we have a few people, someone who is really important, and the main object in the photo will be always moved from the center towards the left third or towards the right third, and the complementary objects will be around or behind or closer to the center. Okay, this is one of the main rules. Then it's really important to leave enough space around the object. I took this image intentionally cropping it really tight here. You see, we can see a very busy set, And when we have, for example, when we have tall objects in the picture, they need some more space above them. When we photograph the items from the front, not from the top, we need to understand that our brain knows that the horizon line, like down, is always less than lots of air and sky above. So this is what is normal for our brain. That means that when I have standing objects, the space under it should be much less than the space above it. So this is too much high here, and we don't have space, and the picture looks like something's missing, something, it should be a bit more, it's too much tight. When we are talking about people and portraits, there are other rules. When we photograph standing person, there should be the same, there should be more space above the person. But the closer you come to the person, the less space you need above the head. And this is okay, this is normal. Even when we have close-ups and we photograph only faces for some purpose, it's even okay to cut in the middle, almost in the middle of the forehead, and leaving like really high here. But this is something specific about portraiture. But standing person or even sitting should have enough space above the head, not too much, enough. And standing items should have enough space. Let's say this difference between the space under the object and above should be almost double. Let's say if I have this space here, here above I should have almost 2 times more than I have here. So this is the main rule. This is the same about the sides, like not too much close, there should be always little space. If it's not the main object and it's used as a decoration, it's okay if it goes out of the frame. But the main object should be moved from the sides, little bit, leaving some space, so we can understand that they are not accidental there. Because everything which is too much close to the edge or going out from the edge will be understood by our brain that this is something not significant in this photo, not important, not deserving attention. Okay, if you want people see everything that you put in the frame, they should be moved from the sides. Then, direction of movement. This is something which is really common as a mistake for even professional photographers. When we have a moving object, or we have a potentially moving object, or when we have a person looking to a certain side, we need to leave some space from this side where this person is looking at. You know, if, for example, if I put now this lady really close here, and she will look at the edge of the photo, it will look strange, like my brain will be confused. It shouldn't be the end of the photo. If a person is looking at something, like our brain starts thinking, what is it there? We need to follow up these eyes. We need to see what is there. The same as when the person is walking, let's say, and we can see the path where, like in the direction where this person is walking, we need some space in front of him for our brain to understand that he's walking, that there is movement, you know. Then if the car, let's say, is standing on the road, even not moving car, but we need some more space in front of this car to understand that this object is potentially moving in the picture, you know. So to bring this idea for your viewers that the object can move or moving in the photo, you need to leave a bit space in the direction of this movement. Then, cropping. Cropping, this is something which is important to know as well. This is how it works. For example, we take a picture, and then we decide to crop it to remove all the things that we don't need in this picture, and we start cropping it. It's okay to crop just a bit, but it's not okay to crop a lot. For example, you need to photograph, let's say, a piece of something, right? Let's say a cake, small cake. You photograph it, and then you found that you have too much space around, and it's a table and people running and something, and you just cut, and you think it's okay, like having this photo this way. But this is how we lose the quality. It works this way. For example, you take a piece of fabric, and then you cut a small piece of this fabric, and then you take this small piece and you try to stretch it to fit the initial size of the whole fabric. This is what the camera is making. The camera has a certain frame size. And then when you have a picture of this size and you cut a piece of it, the camera automatically stretches this piece to the size of the frame. And this is how we get the loss of quality of the image. It becomes smaller in size. We are losing colors. We are losing sharpness. We have these pixels, as it's called, yeah, pixelation. We have different unpleasant things. So that's why it's better to either not to crop at all. So find what exactly you want to see in your picture and initially photograph this way so you don't have anything to crop. Or if you're cropping, crop a little bit, but not too much in order not to lose the quality. The background. Everything which is in the background will be seen in the picture if you are not using the blurred background settings. So that means remove everything that you don't need there. If you are waiting for a good moment to take pictures and you can see that there are people passing by or someone in a bright red dress is standing behind and you don't need this person there because it will immediately grab the attention, wait for a certain moment or choose the direction so the background will be not as busy. The background should not grab attention from the main object. It should not be brighter and more colorful than the main object. You see, it's really important. So that's why pay attention to what you have in the background. Then distortion. Distortion, this is what I started with when I was talking about the angles. And I told you that everything which is shot with the wide angle lens, everything at the sides will be distorted. This is distortion and changing of shapes of the objects. You can use it intentionally. If you want to show something, let's say, bigger than it is, you can put a person closer to the side. If you have a group of people and you don't really like someone, you can make this for this person. Just put it on the right side or left side of the group, and the person will look much bigger than the others. And for yourself, you will remember that in order to have better shape in the group picture, choose the middle place. Then everything matters. No accident objects. That means that when a person is looking in the photograph, we understand that everything that we can see in this photograph has a certain meaning. It's somehow connected with each other. If we are looking at the person, let's say, having rest on the beach somewhere, we look at him and then we start exploring what is it around, yeah? And we will definitely notice his friend beside, we will definitely notice a piece of sea in the background, and we will also notice the trash bin, let's say, or something that we prefer not to see, let's say, in the picture. So everything that you put in the frame, that you put in the picture, keep it in your mind from this point of view that the viewer will try to understand why this object is in the picture, why it's this color, why it's in this position, why it's included in this composition. There should not be any accident objects. If you don't know how to remove it, if let's say there is something that you don't need in the picture but you can't avoid it, either choose the program that will blur everything around, or change the background or move, or just sometimes it's enough to turn. If you need the proper background, I can either turn from this side and photograph, or I can turn from this side and photograph myself, and there will be different background. Just keep it in your mind. No accidental objects. This is everything that is connected with the process of taking good pictures. I've told you about the technical side, I've told you about light and composition and some rules which are important to follow. Are there any questions here?
في أي سؤال لأناستيزيا؟ قول بهار بدك تسألي إشي إلين؟ Would you like to ask any questions?
Okay, good. So actually, it looks like really complicated maybe because when it's too much information at a time. But when I send the recording of this video, and if you have time to refer again, like with the stops, putting on pause and trying to understand how it works, and then opening your mobile cameras and checking what settings you have, which automatic regimes you have, which scenarios you have. Let's say choose one object and make a few images with the same object but using different cameras of your mobile and different settings and different white balance settings, and you will see the difference. You will understand then in real what I'm talking about. You will see the difference, and then you will choose which of your mobile cameras you would better use, because let's say it gives you better, nicer image, or which of them you will use in a certain circumstances, let's say. Just you need to know your mobile really better. And then every time before you take a picture, just keep in your mind that no accidental objects, clear background, not busy background, enough light. This is what will really matter in the photos and the videos that you are taking. Okay, and then still, the last slide that I wanted to talk about, this is about editing the images. This is the simple, these are the simple recommendations that you can follow if you need to edit something, or you made mistake while you were taking pictures, or you need to make them nicer. This is what you can do. Like first, in your mobiles, you have camera editors. They are built in, and they have the basic tools to adjust the images. First, you can, let's say, you can straighten the horizon line there. You can crop slightly the image there. You can straighten the vertical lines there. So if you see after you've taken the picture, you can see that something's wrong. Check if the lines are correct, and check your photo editor how to correct this vertical and horizontal lines. Then you can use some filters that you also have built in your mobile camera. Some of them are used, can be switched on even before you start shooting. You can open your camera, and in the right upper corner, usually you will see the circles, like 3 circles. These are the filters that you switch on before you start taking pictures, and they will give you different color or different brightness, different some accents or effects in your images. Or you can make it after you've already taken the images. I can't say that I'm a fan of filters, because the filter is changing the image significantly sometimes, and especially those filters which make the faces really blurred and looking the skin plastic. But some of them can be not bad if you choose a certain, let's say, filter which helps you to avoid magenta cast on your face when you take picture, or will make the shadows more soft and the light more soft. Use this filter, and it will help you with the nice images. For those who want to go a bit deeper and having more control of your mobile cameras, and for those who are iPhone users, you don't have the manual settings in your cameras, but you can use the application which is called Lightroom. Lightroom application gives you an option to manually control your camera. Lightroom initially was made by Adobe, like Photoshop, but Photoshop is more complicated and for designers, and Lightroom was made for photographers. Lightroom in the mobile version is free, and it gives you first the manual control of your camera settings, when you can adjust the f-meaning, shutter speed. You can choose the ISO there. Then second, it has all the basic tools for post editing, when you need to crop, when you need to adjust the brightness, and some other tools. And also Lightroom allows you to use the presets. Presets, this is something that even many photographers are using presets. Like, I don't like this kind of work, because you can't say that, let's say, when you're using the preset, you will not get the same effect in all the images. And me as a photographer, I want the same result, like more of a control. That's why presets not for me, but presets are really good for you if you want to make editing. What they will give you, the preset is the recorded sentence of actions. When you have one action made after another, automatically, let's say one preset will make first your images less contrasty, reduce the brightness, then add some creamy cast, or add some blue color to the sky, or add some green color to the greens. You know, each preset has a certain number of actions that will change your image, making it brighter or more colorful, or having a certain color cast. Okay, the presets, usually the Lightroom presets, lots of them, they are in the internet. You can buy them if you want. They are like $10 per pack of 5 presets. They are not, they don't cost huge money, but especially for those who have your professional Instagram pages, let's say, using the presets can help you to have a certain look, like one style look of all the images that you are taking, and will make your Instagram page look more stylish, more balanced, because the same preset will turn your images into a certain color scheme, let's say. Will make certain adjustments with your images so they will look more stylized.
Anastasia, can I ask a question, please? The Lightroom, where do we get it from? It's you download it from the apps?
Yes, in app stores, in App Store and Google Play, Lightroom. This mobile version, it's really nice. You know, the Lightroom mobile version, it's really nice. It's easy to use. You just add photos there that you want to change. Lightroom creates its own library for the photos. So even if you made an adjustment and you don't like it, you can always reverse to the original image, and you can make a few trials, and then you can export from Lightroom to anywhere. It has lots of options. And also in Lightroom, because I recently had the course for the Instagram users, and we had the marathon for 7 days to update the Instagram looks, and we were using these Lightroom presets, and they are really nice to make the page look like in one style, and all the images look in one style.
And the presets also, you download them?
Presets, yeah, you can download lots of them in the internet, actually. Recently we created one online shop for photographers and non-photographers with the one American team of editors. And we have the presets there. They're about $7, $10 for 5 presets, but you can find them a lot in the internet, lots of them, the presets. I recommended my students in the previous group, I recommended them for the Instagram, choosing, let's say, 1 or 2 presets. Let's say one preset will boost the colors, and another preset will make them matte, let's say, make image look, give them matte look, let's say. And depending on the photo, they can use one or another pack of presets. And the preset is really easy to use. It's like you just first you insert in the Lightroom, you insert the file. Let's say it's called the raw file of an image from which you want to copy the settings. And you copy the settings, you open your photo, you paste the settings. It's just like one click, and your image will be shifted with the same actions as the one from which you copied it. I have a short video about this. I can share it, and later if someone is interested, I can show you how what it means and how the images are changed with the presets.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, so this is what is really important. So I hope that this information will help you a lot, and every time when you take images or videos, you will keep it in mind. And like in the beginning, it will be maybe a bit complicated and it will take more time, but then it becomes like a skill, you know, it's automatic. You will automatically see what is the light around you, and you will automatically see what is around you in the background, and you will understand how your camera works, your mobile camera works, how to use it in a better way.
Basically, the bottom line is use your camera, your mobile camera, the other way around when you do selfies or you do videos, right?
Yeah, the back camera, not the selfie one.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is that when you position it, for example, when you're holding the camera, you often seen it, you know, when we have the selfie camera and we hold it from here or from here, the angle is different, and this is how we get the distortion. And I explain you why we have the distortion in our camera. We can find the angle. If you are using the selfie camera, you can find the angle which is better to avoid the distortion. But anyway, if you use the the back camera, it will give you less distortion because you will not keep it too much close to you as the selfie camera. Like the selfie camera, you can't move it further than your hand length, right? But the back camera, you can put it a bit far from you, find the table or something to put it a bit far from you in the straight upward position, so it will not be inclined anyhow, and you will not have distortion. So when you're sitting in front of the camera, look at my monitor now. Like I'm sitting this way. If I incline it here, you see there is distortion now. Now my head is smaller and my hands are much bigger. Or if it's inclined this way, now it's too much space above me. So position your camera this way, so it's like straight upward and not too much space above you, like nothing disturbing on the background, and this is how you will get the best videos and photos.
Fantastic. Any questions? في أسئلة بتحبوا تسألوها لأناستيزيا؟ أناستيزيا على كل حال she's recorded this session and we'll be sending it to you. رح نرسل لكم هاي المحاضرة اللي عملتها هلا أناستيزيا لأنها مسجلة. في أي سؤال؟ لين؟
Yes. As I was saying, thank you, Anastasia, for this very valuable information and tips. I wanted to say, we're talking a lot about the picture and the light and really very interesting, helpful tips. But regarding voice recordings, okay, does it make a difference if you record voice like if you're putting headphones or if you're directly projecting onto the laptop or iPad or phone? This is my initial question at the beginning.
Okay, I see now. Yeah. Look, of course, the closer the microphone to your to the source of the sound, the less noise it will have around, the less echo it will have. So that means that if you have microphone somewhere, like external microphone, or you're using headset with a microphone, the quality of the sound will be better than you're using inbuilt microphones on your desktop. But it depends a lot on the equipment that you are using. Like I'm using now my Mac and built-in microphone from my Mac, and you can hear that the sound is not bad, let's say, yeah. But of course, if I have, let's say, professional microphone and holding it here, and let's say I want to record clear sound without any noise around me, it would be nicer, because built-in microphones, they will catch all the noise around as well. So they are really sensitive and they're catching. It's like the pictures, like everything is in frame. Every sound is in built-in microphone.
Okay, so if you're putting your headphones on and you're listening and you're recording through the headphones,
it's better.
It's better. Okay.
It's better if your headphones have a good microphone. It's better, but you understand it's different. Headphones can be low quality and the built-in microphone can be high quality. Check and compare. Like by definition, the headphones should have a better sound because they will not catch too much sound around you.
Yeah.
But compare your devices, what you have, and then you will understand.
How can you check?
You can make a recording, just make a voice recording, let's say, for like anything. Just open the voice recorder in your mobile and make voice recording without headset and then voice recording with the headset. And then listen to the files.
Okay, great, thank you. How was my voice now? I'm using the headphones. How was it? I'm using headphones. How was it?
I can hear you. I can hear you pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Rashid is also using headphones. He's the only
Yeah,
male
yeah.
who shows his face, and all the females are hiding behind pictures. Or not
I don't know why, but very
because we're
informative.
females. Anastasia, of course, she's more daring.
Yeah.
Anastasia, دكتور عندك أي سؤال? Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Anastasia. It was really informative, and hoping that the better now we will go and test everything that we submit to Family Flavors. Thank you for your time and for your patience.
نشفناها ريقها. I hope you didn't get too thirsty. Are you fasting?
Me?
Yeah, are you fasting?
Yeah, I'm fasting. Yeah, I'm really thirsty now because I was talking non-stop and like I feel like it's too much dry now.
I was wondering about that. Yeah. Type, Anastasia, I'd like to also, if you can give me a snapshot of this so that we can use it on Instagram tonight to say we had this training. What do you think?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can just put it on tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to send it.
I can open it this as a grid so we can see, let's say this way. So there are people, not only me, and you can make screenshot this way if you want.
Yeah, I tried taking pictures now, but it's just reflecting. I tried turning off the light.
Oh, okay.
I tried now just doing this, and it's just, I'm going to see if it's good. I'll send you to see what I took. Maybe you can have, yeah, it's nice by the way. I'll send you what I took. رح أحط شوية من هذا إذا ما في عندكم مانع. بحب أخذ صورة عن السكرين هذا وأحطه على الإنستغرام الليلة إذا ما في ناس عنده مانع. أقول بهار دكتورة هبة.
No, of course. Nothing.
Yeah. And anyway, so the recording will be available tonight. And if anyone has questions, you can message me and ask.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Settings, if you need help with your mobile cameras, it's okay. Just message me and I will try to help you.
Thank you so much, Anastasia, for this giving us your time today. It was very useful, at least for me.